Hey guys, welcome back to RC Video Reviews. If you're in the market for a jumper radio, this is the one to get, and if you stick around after the break, I'll tell you why. Before I get into the video, I need to let you know this video is sponsored by Banggood. They sent me this Jumper T18 for review. The timing on this video couldn't have been better because right now Banggood's running a huge transmitter and receiver sale. I have a link in my description for that sale, and it is an affiliate link. So if you decide to go to Banggood and purchase any of the equipment on that list, I would definitely appreciate it if you'd use my affiliate link. That way the channel gets a little bit of a kickback and it costs you nothing. It's all paid for by Banggood. It's a big sale and they've got a lot of equipment in stock, including this Jumper T18 and the Radiomaster. So make sure you go check out Banggood if you're in the market for new radio equipment. Okay, let's jump into why you're here. The Jumper T18 is the latest entry in the Jumper lineup of radios, and there are 3 different iterations of the T18. There's a Lite, a Standard, and a Pro. This is the Lite version. The Lite version has just about everything that the Standard and Pro have, including the multi-protocol module, so you can bind this radio with just about any receiver you can find on the market. Notice it has the carbon faceplate. The literature that I've read said this was supposed to come with matte black, but I verified the SKU on the box and I opened the radio up to look at the card. This is the Lite version. So I'm not sure if that's something special for Banggood or not, and I can't promise you that that's the way it's going to be if you order it from Banggood. All I can tell you is what I see in front of me. This is the Lite version and it's got the carbon faceplate. It also comes with the foldable handle on the back. It's got the backlit switches, and I'll turn the lights off so you can get a look at those real quick. There you go, there's a look at all the backlit switches on the radio. The Lite version also has the same CPU as the Pro version, and it comes with a 1 gig SD card. It also comes with the zipper case that's form fit for the radio, and then inside they include a neck strap, a screen protector, and a USB cable to connect it to your computer. So you might be asking yourself, what does Standard and Pro buy you? The Standard version adds the 5-in-1 module, which gives you access to that 900 megahertz FlySky R9 protocol, and then the Pro version adds on top of that RDC90 gimbals. Pricing, as I mentioned earlier, as of this video, $149 for the base version, $159 for the Standard, and then $189 for the Pro. You do have to bring your own battery. It uses 18650 batteries. I'll put a link in the description to show you where I got mine, but just standard 18650 batteries. They do include a battery tray that lets you put your 18650s in and plug them directly into the radio. Before I dive into the radio, I have to ask, if you like this type of content, please consider hitting that subscription button down at the bottom and the notification bell. A full 63% of the viewers of RC Video Reviews content don't subscribe. And to be honest, it's very helpful for small channels like mine to get video placement as our subscriber base grows. So please consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. For those of you who are already subscribed to the channel, a thumbs up would be awesome, a comment would be great, and if you could, share the video and tell your friends about the channel so we can keep that subscriber base growing. If you're in the market for a jumper radio, let me explain why I think this is the one to buy. The Standard and Pro versions add some features. They add the R9 protocol from FlySky, which is 900 megahertz, and that's beyond line of sight stuff. So if you're going to fly at distance, you need something like that. And the Pro version adds the RDC90 gimbals. That works out to a $10 to $40 increase over the Lite version. Here's the crux of the issue. I've watched several videos on this radio, and the R9 protocol seems to be universally disliked. Aside from the super long range flyers who are using UHF for control, it seems like that 900 megahertz space is dominated by crossfire. So the question I have is, why would you pay extra for a protocol that gets beat out by crossfire and you're going to have to buy that module anyway? It doesn't make any sense. The other issue with the Standard and Pro model is that the 2.4 gigahertz antenna in those versions is not an external dipole. It's an internal PCB antenna. And there are a lot of complaints out there about what that PCB 2.4 gigahertz antenna might be doing to range. I have no comment on the matter because I haven't done any testing, but I'm just pointing it out. If you're not a long range flyer, this is absolutely the radio to get. If you fly line of sight, you don't need 900 megahertz, and you don't know what an RDC90 gimbal is, don't even think about it. This is the one to get. There's no two ways around it. This is definitely the one to get. It's got the correct 2.4 gigahertz external antenna, and you're not wasting your money on a 900 megahertz protocol that seems to be universally disliked. So if you're out there looking at the Jumper, get the Lite version. This is the one. As far as the radio goes, it ships with OpenTX 2.3.8. Important thing about this radio is that it is not in Companion yet. I checked today and it is not yet available in Companion. I will be testing Companion with other radios to see if I can find a profile that works. I'm kind of hoping the TX16 profile works, but I'll find out. I'll do a little testing. I wouldn't let that deter you though, because I know the OpenTX team is hard at work and they will get the T18 added. There's no doubt in my mind it will be added. I just want to make you aware it's not available as of today. And for the multi-module, the radio comes from the factory with 1.3.1.13 out of the box. Let's take a quick stroll around the outside of the radio, and I'll say it again, this one comes with a carbon fiber finish on the faceplate, and it's not supposed to. According to the literature I read, it's supposed to be matte black. So I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe it's a Banggood thing. So I don't have an answer for why that happened. But I do like the carbon finish. It does look pretty good. It's very modern looking, and one of the things I do like about it is it doesn't show dust or fingerprints very easy. It kind of hides them. Regarding the backlit switches, I've kind of got mixed feelings about it. I'm in a studio right now with some studio lighting, and as you can see, it's kind of difficult to make out the writing on these switches. It's not very obvious, unlike silk screening where you can easily see the labels on the switches. If I turn the lights off though, you can start to see how they come in and become a little more obvious. So I'm just not sure how I feel about that. On one hand, I kind of know where the switches are anyway, but in daylight, I guess when you're looking at it straight on, you can get a pretty good look at them, but I'm not sure how that's going to hold up out in the sun. I just don't know. We'll see about that. And both of these power switches turn the radio off and on. So here's off, and here's on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Additionally, right around that power button, you'll notice there's a 3-position neck strap, which helps balance the radio the way you like it. Another very interesting feature of this radio is that the gimbals are adjustable from the back of the radio without taking the case off. So these screw holes down here are there for you to adjust gimbal tension. That's a nice feature. You don't have to take your case apart to do that. In fact, it's real easy to do it at the field if you know which screws are which. So make sure you check out the manual, and you can adjust these without taking the cover off the back if you want to. One odd little design choice they made on this radio is the position of the SD card. It's right here. So as you can see, you can get it out. It's not going to be hard to get it out. I can see how inserting it could be really challenging because you see that hole right there? If you don't get the card in the slot correctly, you could drop the SD card right down into the radio. So that's kind of an unusual design choice. The good news is there really shouldn't be a reason for you to pull that SD card out of there, because you do have access to the SD card contents through the USB-C jack on the top of the radio, right there. And since we're here anyway, that's a trainer jack. 3.5 millimeter trainer cord plugs in there, and you can use that as a trainer port. While we're in the battery compartment, there's one other thing we have to talk about, and that's the elephant in the room in my opinion, and that's that this radio does not come with any sort of external charging. You cannot charge the radio with that USB port on the top. There is no wiring or battery protection circuit in there. In order to charge your batteries, you've got to take them out of the radio, plug them into an external charger, and charge them. I'm going to show you how to fix that though. So that's not in today's video, but I will be posting a video that's going to show you how to take care of that problem and add external charging to this radio. To me, that's the biggest hardware fault of the radio, and the reason I'm making a big deal of it is because when I'm done flying, I don't want to come home, take the battery out of the compartment, disconnect it from that little plug down there, plug these into an external charger, wait for them to charge up, plug them back into the charger. It's a pain in the neck, and not to mention the possible wear and tear you're going to incur on your battery leads and that 3-pin connector down there that you've got to plug into. It's a miss, in my opinion. It's a miss. But have no fear, I'm going to show you how to solve that with a battery management circuit. So if lack of external charging is a big deal to you, you either have to be willing to add it yourself or look for a different radio. Regarding the switch layout, this follows traditional OpenTX radio formats where the top left is a 2-position, the top right is a momentary, and then all of the rest of these are 3 positions. So there's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. There are 2 pots on the top with a silver, it feels plastic, it's a plastic covering. The T18 also comes with this awesome 6-position switch that lets you use different flight modes either within OpenTX directly or for flight computers like APM. On the gimbals, right away when I took it out of the box, the very first thing that I noticed was just how low these things sit. If you look at it from the side, these stick ends are very close to the surface or deck of the radio, so very short sticks. But what's cool about them is you don't need any tools to adjust it. You simply unscrew the top and then raise the bottom. And look how much taller, that's not even all the way out, but look how much taller I made those sticks with just a minor adjustment. So that's a nice little feature that you can adjust these sticks with very minor effort, no tools required. All right, regarding stick feel, I think the gimbal spring tension is perfect the way it comes. I might make some minor adjustments, but it feels very solid to me the way it comes out of the box. Regarding the sliders, I think this is a universally understood complaint out there that the sliders feel a little sloppy, and I will say that they are definitely light. You have to have a light touch with these, and I can see where some people might have a problem with that, especially if they don't have a light touch on their fingertips. But as far as I'm concerned, I really just don't see it being that much of a problem. I can feel that indent just fine. I don't have an issue with it. I know some people do complain, and I can see their point of view. So I'm not going to tell you this is flawless or perfect. It could be improved upon. I'll put it that way. But it's not terrible, you know. I can find the middle without too much struggle. You just have to have a soft touch, that's all. Same thing with the pots. To me, there's a very solid indent right there. I just do not understand what the complaint is. I just don't get it. That detent feels just fine to me. That's the stop, that's the middle. I can feel it. There's no problems. Again, not saying it's the best it could be, but it's not terrible. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's take a look at the buttons on the bottom half of the radio. On the left-hand side is the system button, which brings you into the radio configuration. On the right-hand side is the return or escape that brings you back to the home screen. The buttons along the side are model, page, and tele. From the home screen, if you press the tele button, you can set up your home page and widgets that you want on your home screen for a model. And then if you press and hold the model button, that brings you in the model setup. And if you press the page button, it tabs through the icons on the top row. And if you long press, it goes backwards. On the right hand side is a jog dial that lets you navigate up and down. You can press enter to work in a field, or if you long press it, you get access to other options. Okay, let's open it up. To open the Jumper T18, let's take the battery out first. Then there are a couple screws right here on the top that have to come out. They're hex head screws. Then on these back covers, there's a little finger slot in there that lets you get a finger in there to take these off. That one's off. Now that one. And then you take the side grips off. And finally, there are 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've only got 2 holding mine in right now because I knew I'd be taking it apart again. So I'll just take these out real quick. Okay, the first reason I know this is a light version is because I don't have that 2.4 gigahertz antenna on the back plate of my radio. My 2.4 gigahertz antenna is connected to the multi-module right here with this UFL connector, and then out to the top on this adapter plate, and then to the dipole. The other thing I want to point out, check this out. This is another weird thing. Notice that this still says JP 5-in-1, not 4-in-1. So I took the multi-module board off and flipped it over. There are no other antenna leads. The only antenna lead I've got is the 2.4 gigahertz antenna, which is right there. So that's how I know, even though it says it's a 5-in-1 module, they must be doing it this way just to save money. So they minimize the number of parts, but they remove functionality. Down here, notice that we've got the ARM CPU and a memory chip. Here's your SD card. So remember I told you earlier, if you have a problem putting that card in and you drop it inside the radio, all you've got to do is take that back cover off, and it's real easy to get that card out again. It's not that big of a deal. There's the 3-pin connector for the battery, and when I get a chance, I'll be showing you how to install a BMS chip inside the radio so you can add external charging for your battery pack. Down here on the bottom right is the haptic motor, and there is a ribbon cable connecting the display, the front screen display, to the main board right here. All right, just to wrap up the inside look, the real-time clock battery is right there. That's a CR1220 3-volt battery, and on the left-hand side is the jog wheel. I wasn't around for the T16 debacle with the ribbon cables, so whatever the issues were with those ribbon cables, they got away from those and they switched over to silicone wires on JST style connectors. And those are all over the radio. All right, guys, that wraps up my first look at the Jumper T18 Lite edition. I definitely stand by my opening comments. If you're in the market for a jumper radio, the T18 Lite's the way to go unless you very specifically need features from that FlySky R9 protocol. If you don't need that, this is the one to get. And then if you do want long range, just add a crossfire module later and buy it directly. That's the one you're probably going to want anyway. So save your money on the radio purchase and get the Lite version. You're not going to be missing out on anything except for that protocol and the RDC90 gimbals. I have a couple of other video ideas. Namely, I'd like to go through an initial setup video. So if you're new to this type of radio, I'd like to show you how to set up a Jumper T18. If that'd be helpful to you, definitely leave me a comment and let me know. And don't forget to check out the description and use my affiliate link for that Banggood sale on transmitters and receivers. One thing I can tell you for sure, and you can take my word for this or not, but the Jumper radios and the Radiomaster radios, once they get in stock, they don't last. They go out of stock really quickly. Banggood's blowing them out right now. Not only do they have them in stock, they also have them on sale. So check out the link in my description to score yourself an awesome deal on an OpenTX radio, and come on over to the dark side. Have some fun with OpenTX. It's a great platform. This multi-module, can't beat it. All right, guys, that wraps it up on the first look of the Jumper T18. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Check out my affiliate links. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.